Hello, we're going to talk about how automation, interoperability, and application-based platforms address market trends. I'm with Dave Cameron, Bosch Rexroth, Sales Director for Automation and Electrification. Dave has been with Bosch Rexroth since 1997 and held different jobs in product management and sales. He has an electrical engineering degree from Northwestern and spent his early career as an application engineer writing application-level code and performing technical support prior to Bosch. I'm Mark T. Hosky, Control Engineering Editor and Content Manager since 1994. Dave, welcome and thanks for today's discussion.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Good. Say, what market trends are being addressed by your company's latest products and services?
Yeah, Mark, so we have this product that we introduced called ctrlX Automation, and it's really to address all the technology acceleration that's going on in the marketplace and really an approach to industrial automation. So this platform is made up of servo drives, controls, safety, I/O systems, touch screens, and all the IoT elements of it, and all the connectivity elements used for industrial automation in that space. And the idea of it is to have an easy approach that's modern and future-proof. And if you think of a smartphone, that's the analogy we'll talk through today. It's really a concept like a smartphone that everybody is really familiar with. So that's the idea. It's called ctrlX Automation.
What types of customers are most interested in this offering?
So we spend most of our day working with people designing machines. It's not exclusive to machines because there's all kinds of industrial automation applications, but most of the designers that would be controls engineers, software engineers, R&D engineers are the type of customer that this is meant to target. So it's for, again, people using motion control, using control systems that are going to design mainly industrial machinery or industrial types of applications where a control or motion is involved. And the end user is also in mind. So we certainly have customers or users that are directly purchasing the equipment that do in-house things or update existing machinery that are also targets. So again, the main user is really the people trying to build a cool, new, innovative machine.
So are there certain market drivers behind these developments?
So absolutely. As you can imagine, I've been in the business a long time, Mark, and it's going faster and faster, right? Everything. Consumer world is leading, right, in our life, and the industrial world seems to follow and mimic some of those things. So we're quick to jump on that bandwagon, like the analogy of the smartphone. We'll line up outside an Apple store for the latest innovation, and it seems to be a little bit of a lag in the industrial space. So, the market drivers are led by consumer, but it's really the desire to use technology for all this IoT discussion that's been going on for several years, how to handle data, how to bring value to the manufacturing process, how to do things faster, how to connect things, how to have remote diagnostics in cloud. So the approach of this design was really tailored towards speed to market and a future-proof idea so that you can use the product for years and years and years. And that's not easy to do. So we really started from scratch in this whole product line. And instead of building upon something that existed, we just said, let's start over. Hardware, software, apps. Let's do all of this so that we can really think, 20 years from now, 25 years from now, that we can adapt to the ever-changing technology. So the benefits of the system are really the fact that we're not installing software on computers like the old days. We're using browser-based systems. The ability to customize using an app. So I mentioned the smartphone concept, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. So everybody understands an app and all the diversity that goes with it. So imagine now that's in the space of ctrlX Automation where you're applying industrial motion control and controllers and touchscreens using an app-based approach, and then being able to modify that, update it through a device management system, just like your smartphone.
So, what are some key technologies integrated into the system since you were able to start from a level of clean slate?
Yeah, so there has been a standard somewhat in the industry for a programming approach using, for example, ladder logic, structured text, the very traditional PLC languages that we've known for decades, really. And also, for example, CNC for shape cutting or machine tool type applications. So now what we did is we said, let's use, a whole bunch of the new suite of languages, such as Python, Java, Node-RED, things that are up and coming, even Blockly. So it's structured languages that are more modern. It's low code approach, and it's even no code approach to being able to do elements on the machine for connecting, for writing HMIs, for writing the core code. So that's some of the languages, but it also does support. This is important. It does support all those traditional IEC languages that I mentioned. All the traditional stuff is still there, and you can mix and match any type of language. But now we're talking about networking and clouds and adding the ability, for example, with TSN that's up and coming. This is the next Ethernet-based industrial network. So it's available. 5G, which everyone's talking about, is already in its early stages, and it will be rolling out to manufacturing. So it's already got 5G support on the system. So I talked about a lot of stuff. It's really meant to adapt to what the engineer wants to use. That's maybe 25 years old, Mark, and also tailor to someone who's comfortable in the traditional. And again, you can mix and match, but the idea is it goes faster. You're comfortable. You can use what you know, but it also gives us that future path for more people using those newer languages in the future. So that's the approach on the language side.
What are some of the challenges associated with installing or implementing the product or the platform? What's different in terms of using it or implementing it?
As far as a challenge, I would say the first challenge isn't a technical challenge. It's a little bit of a commercial challenge. So as I've been in this space with Bosch Rexroth for 24 years, getting people to adapt to something new, no matter what it is takes a little time. So that's a little bit generational, and it's a little bit of a structure of a company. So the first challenge in bringing technology, I would say, that I've experienced is the persona or the age of the person that says, hey, I want to run with this Python programming. I want to connect to the cloud system. I want to use apps. So those are the people that adapt faster. The people that have been doing it for, let's say, decades, that are maybe more in my age group, are the ones that will take a little slower adaptation to it. So that in itself is challenging, to get people to switch from something that's been done for many decades. As far as the technical, I haven't seen anything, Mark. It's been absolutely fantastic. The idea of using apps and being able to get the speed to market. I've literally watched people load an app and be able to build an HMI or a dashboard system in 20 minutes, because they don't have to write code. They can simply connect to it. The app identifies all the variables and all that handshaking, and they simply go in and they say, okay, I want to see the torque, the speed, the whole process, and write dashboard using a menu of widgets that's already been pre-done. So things like that are making it easy. So, and back to the analogy of the smartphone, you don't read an instruction manual, or no one really does. When they get an app, they just start using it and they go, this makes sense. So I would say on the technical side, it's been phenomenally adaptable. very easy to understand, very easy to use, both because they're using programming languages they know, apps that are intuitive, the nature of things identifying themselves and connecting. It's been fantastic, Mark.
So, how is this different than prior models and products that have been easy to use, and what type of maintenance is required?
Well, just like your smartphone, again, I'll use a smartphone analogy. A lot of the things are structured around soft elements, and let's say someone wants to, um, let's say they find a bug, okay, that happens all the time. They can just simply, update the app just like you would on your smartphone. Things happen automatically on your smartphone in the background. You could set it for that, but probably more typical in the industrial space is someone will manage that, by choice. They'll say, I want to update this app. I want to update this version of, the Python, or I want to change what the HMI looks like. But the cool part is you can do it remote. So the maintenance of the system using the technology that we have today, just like your smartphone, is quite easy. It's quite remote, much easier than past generations of things that we've seen in the industrial space.
What kinds of channels will be offering and supporting the product?
So the ctrlX automation platform is a global platform. Bosch Rexroth, a global company, manufacturing products for the space and use of global, industrial automation. So I would say, first of all, the product is used around the world. It's not country specific. The channels that we use are mixed between channel direct applications with customers, meaning Bosch Rexroth, to designers. We certainly have very strong channel partners and distributors. We have some online things, of course, which I think we're going to talk about, and then system integrators also. So it's a combination of things, using technical partners and our direct stuff. And now certainly we're seeing more and more online type of scenarios for example, in the apps world. Makes sense, just like your smartphone.
When did the platform first become available, and what dates of updates have been offered since then?
So we actually had a first showing in the SPS Fair 2019 in Germany. That's kind of a major trade fair for us as Bosch. We showed the world for the first time this product line. We launched it in the middle of 2020 here in the United States, and we had a significant amount of the hardware done in the drive and motor platform and the control. And over the last, I guess it's been 16 months since we launched it here, we've been adding a lot of software elements, and that's really the trajectory is going to be more apps, again, like the smartphone. You're going to be able to continuously get libraries of apps that are related to the industrial space, that are new things, new ways to do stuff. But we certainly have some additional hardware that's coming out in different elements that are released 3 times a year is how we do it. But I would say our trajectory going forward will be more significantly in the apps and the software.
Good. What types of online sales and support tools are available?
So just like we talked about earlier, the generation really seeks things online today. They prefer it. That's the way most people do things. So we have, first of all, for the apps, we're just bringing on board a ctrlX store. So that's where you get the apps. That's, let's say, in a pilot phase right now, and early next year that'll be in a full launch. So that's where you'll get your apps from. We also have digital services related to getting virtual twins, virtual controls for simulation, and let's say virtual engineering tools. We also have support mechanisms like forums for people to get information, self-serving, and being able to use GitHub, which has millions and millions of users, very common use in the software world for support. So let's say the support mechanism will be very much online, very much video, very much self-serving, to be able to get things quickly and at your fingertips, let's say, which is what most of us do now, rather than the call or wait for someone to get back to you on something you have a question for. And then for purchasing, the apps will be the store, like I mentioned, and we'll have some other elements online, like anything going forward that you can get as far as hardware and stuff.
Are there competitors in this area of the market? And what would be key differences in product offerings or sales or support?
Yeah, Mark, the space and anywhere is always competitive. I am absolutely certain this is the frontline premier, all-encompassing industrial automation lead product platform that's on the market today, meaning an app approach, a future-proof approach, an open system, a scalable system. Very much Bosch Rexroth is in the lead in the industrial space for this offering. There are competitors, of course, offering some elements of connectivity, sure, of clouds of certain languages, but on a holistic viewpoint, we've really offered all of these elements in this product line together. Again, with this idea of starting from scratch, we really had a well thought out system rather than to just pile it on to something that existed.
Since you introduced last year, you must have customers using ctrlX. Are there prospects or lead customers saying things about it? Can we talk about some of the comments?
A little bit. So we have over 300 customers today using the product. Often in this space, people don't publicize that until it's a little bit further along, but we have some specifics on our website, and you can find the stories there, so they're public. And I'll mention what they are. So one, for example, is a gantry material handling company called Simcor. They were an early adapter of our products and even helped us co-develop. And so their information is to be found publicly. And so they make gantry systems, use a lot of this technology, app approach, and connectivity that we're talking about to be able to make really the coolest type of system they can on the market and be able to serve it remotely and use the latest technology. We have an application also published related to technology for using artificial intelligence with the ctrlX automation platform on a saw machine. So it's a traditional forming machine or machine tool type application. But where we're actually selling it, without talking about specific customers again, it's very much being implemented across a lot of vertical markets. So a lot of material handling, some packaging, some shape cutting, some general automation, some let's say testing systems. So it's quite diverse, Mark. And we have, again, some public things and some things we keep at this point until the customer's available to or authorizing that we make that public.
Sure. Did you want to talk about any implementations specifically or any of the benefits in general?
Yeah, so I would say I started with this point. I'll speak a little bit in general. The market has shifted. The market will continue to accelerate. And there's this need that's happening for a machine designer that I've observed having been in the industry. Global pressure, both in lead time, price, technology. So the world's, in one sense, the competitive realm in all ways in the industrial space has accelerated. And so people are really looking for ways to differentiate and ways to do things faster and ways to bring value through technology. So that was, again, where I started the idea of this platform. And I see it happening at an accelerated rate, Mark. And it's going to also play into the persona of the younger engineer that's going to act different than the design engineer, let's say in my age group or older. So I've been thinking about that point. Where is it going to go when I'm talking to someone that's, let's say, a couple years out of school that doesn't want to use ladder logic program to handle data, that doesn't, want to do things in old programming languages, that wants to really find things self-serving out on, let's say, out on the internet, videos and things. So that this is where I think, as this age group comes into the the power of design engineers that we work with and are designing the machines, designing this automation. They're the ones that are going to use this type of technology. They are loving it already. I think it'll accelerate, and it's going to continue. We're going to continue to see a lot more application types and artificial intelligence usage. So I would say, in summary, it's really a great time to be in the automation space. So it's really an exciting time to see this evolution happening, and for me to even be challenged on how to talk to someone that's a few years out of school that has a totally different mindset than someone that I've known for decades that have been designing machines, and it makes it really fun.
So are there other points that you'd like to discuss that we haven't covered here?
Well, I would say we covered the most important point, is that the world is changing, and I really think that people are going to use these tools that are available. It does take a little bit of time, but I think if you go to any trade fair today, you see a lot of cloud, you see a lot of intelligence, you see a lot of artificial intelligence, you see a lot more tools. And so why would anyone not really believe that this is going to accelerate and be part of some really cool adaptation of machinery? I do think that COVID has woken us up a little bit in certain areas. The labor area, we all see it. Go to your restaurant on the weekend and maybe wait a little bit longer, or you see signs. So COVID has made its way certainly in the lack of people in production. So automation is driven for a need based on just that, to be able to find a way to be able to manufacture with some of these challenges. And so the acceleration, in my opinion, of being able to do things, being able to manage them remotely is really interesting. And I think this is a great timing for this product offering to be offered to the industrial world.
Any parting advice for youngers or olders or anybody in between?
Well, I even give the advice to myself: do your homework, keep up with technology, be open-minded. Again, I've learned that myself as I've learned technology, and say there's a value here. There's something really cool. So that would be my advice: is really for people to look at the simplicity that's available on the marketplace in this type of product, and go for it. The go for it's easier, like I said, on the younger generation than maybe some of the conservatives that have been doing it a while, just because it feels comfortable and they know it. And so, again, it's an exciting time, and that's really what I see happening. So that's still a challenge, is trying to get people to be able to just go with it and use such cool technology that's available.
Finally, Dave, where can people go for more information about this?
So everything about this product line and all the stories behind it, the applications, the products, the forums, the store, can all be found at www.ctrlX-automation.com, and ctrlX is abbreviated ctrlX-automation.com. If you go there, you'll see everything we talked about, and lots of stories and lots of good information to understand everything that we discussed today, Mark.
Thank you so much, Dave Cameron, Bosch Rexroth Sales Director for Automation and Electrification. We appreciate the discussion, your perspectives and insights. I'm Mark T. Hosky, Control Engineering Content Manager. Thanks for joining us today.